Oh no!
Oh no!
And again, everybody, we're live on the interwebs. Whoa!
Again? Whoa! Again?
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Team Adventurous. Um, I wish Mason could have been here for this one because
Yeah.
this is an important subject, and
Mhm.
this is something that's currently eating away at the foundation of every Western country that has a hard left movement. Racism, 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 racism. The
Yes.
West is racist. America is racist.
Right.
Every country that isn't 90% black or has any history of colonialization is
Mhm.
racist.
Yes.
No, go fuck
Right.
yourself.
Right. You know what I hear when I hear all of that? I hear smoke screen, smoke screen, smoke screen.
Right. Look at this non issue so that you don't see me stealing your wealth.
Right.
Exactly. So, we're going to talk about a video that dropped on Jordan Peterson's channel today. We're going to watch the video here on stream, and me and Caitlin are going to be picking it apart and adding commentary, typical video reaction things. It's just political content. So, let's get into it.
Because we do use our big brain parts.
I swear to God, I'm a smart person. Just because I have like two YouTube channels where I act like an idiot
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean
Oh, to be like, look, we
two,
have to
three.
balance out.
I don't know.
We have, tomato, potato, dildo.
Tomato, potato, dildo. All right. So the channel is, of course, Jordan B. Peterson. Please go check him out. The man he's kind of like a second father or a mentor to me in many ways.
Yeah.
So I have immense respect for him.
Well, you list here in one of your articles where you make reference to these rating systems, the bottom 10 countries for doing business in the world: Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo Democratic Republic, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Venezuela. There's a lovely example: Eritrea and Somalia. And so there are three.
What, Jordan? Why do you say so many words strangely, Jordan? It's Somalia, Jordan. Like, what? Like, Jordan, do you know something I don't know? Is that why you pronounce several words just weird, bro?
Well, it could be he's got a little more like I wonder if because he's from Canada, right?
Right.
I'm correct in thinking. Okay, so is French a language that he speaks? Also, like, is he bilingual? I wonder because that's a common thing there.
It is a common thing there, but I've never heard anyone say that he is bilingual. I've never heard him say that, so I don't know that.
Because it would explain why he pronounces some of his syllables the way that he does. Is if he's got a background in speaking French. So I don't know. Maybe.
It's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about serious things.
Exceptions in the African ecosystem.
I think it's cool.
Mauritius, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. You pointed out in your prospectus. Is it prospectus?
But he gets Zambia right. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, the prospectus article of
Right.
Institute.
Right. That Mauritius is a rising star, and Rwanda is in some ways comparable to Georgia. So some of these countries have started to get this right.
Yes.
And so what's the consequence of that? And what does right mean?
What they have understood, what these countries have understood, is that economic freedom is at the center for prosperity building. Rwanda, for example, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is explicit about it. He said he wants to be the Lee Kuan Yew he wants to be the Singapore of Africa, and Lee Kuan Yew is his model. Now, the dirty mouths are going to start shouting, oh, yeah, see, authoritarian, blah, 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 whatever. Me, I want to talk only about the on the economic side. if you take Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore as your example, then it means that, like him, you're going to have to be serious about economic freedom. And that's exactly what he did. That's what Singapore did.
Very vocal with her hand. Very.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy she's talking about right now, and the point she's driving home is something that more people need to understand. You can't have actual freedom without economic freedom. If you do not have the means to do the things you want to do, even if you're an American citizen, born and raised here in the United States, you're a free citizen. But if your entire life is dedicated to acquiring just the basic resources you need to live, you're not really free. You're a slave to circumstance.
Right.
And that is a fundamental reality of living here on Earth.
And Singapore figured that out. They went on to put in the right reforms to make their environment some of the most business-friendly environments in the world, one of the most free markets environment in the world. And you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is very.
And by the way, I do not think that humans are past colonizing. I hope we are, but do not be surprised if within our lifetimes a state decides to go rogue and start trying to empire build again. Looking at you, China. Looking at you, Russia. And hell, the way the United States is going, I could see the United States going rogue, especially with assholes like the one we got at the helm right now. Anything could fucking happen. So do not think that the darkest days of humanity are behind us.
Yeah, and it acts like nothing happened before to others, but flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong happened. And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened. Because China's like, wait a minute, what went on over there? And then China went on to do the exact same thing with its SEZs, the special economic zones, some of the most free market zones in the world. And then look at it happen in communist China, who, when it comes to economics, decided that we're going to do the free market, we're going to be capitalist.
Now, I don't know if she's aware of the situation in China right now, but a fun little thing about exactly what's going on in China right now, they're experiencing an economic downturn that might cascade into full economic collapse because of an unregulated real estate market. I can't remember the exact channel, but if you search around on YouTube, China collapse due in like 28 days or something, you'll find, oh God, what is the channel? I'll look it up after we're done with this video. But yeah, it's great channel, great documentation of the economic crisis that's happening for the Chinese government right now. And I got to tell you, it tickles my fancy, just so good.
Because that's the only way. We tried everything else. We killed hundreds of millions of people, and we have nothing to show for it. But now that we're tired of being disrespected members of society, because guess what? That's the other thing too. You want to be respected in this world, you're going to have to be among the prosperous ones for other reasons. Would it be nice, G, that we respect people just because? Absolutely. But that's really not the world we live in. So when China got tired of being disrespected, they're like, maybe we got to build also some prosperity here, because then they're going to hear us. And today, China, being one of the, being where it is at, even Hollywood, who tries to tell the world how to think, is being told by China what movies to make and how to tweak stories and history in order to be palatable for them. You see the power that comes with being prosperous.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer price index has reached yet another 40-year high, and the latest GDP.
I love this. I love this. Jordan is like, I'm not going to shill for you. I'm just going to put your ad right over the top of my video.
Yep. It's like I'll let you shill for yourself for a teeny bit.
You're gonna have to shill for yourself just over the top of my video.
Yep. It's like, here you go.
Hard-earned savings with gold.
What would you recommend concretely to countries like Senegal to get the hell out of the way, let's say, of the...
Also, really quick, what is this absolute, like, this strange obsession, this marriage between gold and silver and precious metal companies and conservative politics? I don't understand that. It's like I'm sorry, gold and silver is the wealth store of yesteryear. Like and like the only people who should be storing their wealth in gold and silver are people who already have like a shit ton of land and a shit ton of stocks and bonds and a shit ton of other assets, and they're just looking for one more thing they can dump some extra savings into to safeguard yet another couple thousand. Like, bro,
yeah,
precious metal is not the way you want to save your money. Not to shit on Jordan's sponsor, but there's 100 better ways you can invest. And that's not advice because I'm not an investment guru. That's common fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean,
you try to...
Sorry.
Because there was like this old Jewish lady, that I talked to, and she said part of the reason why like jewelry was such a big thing in their culture, was because like, especially during World War II and things like that, after all of that happened, they invested a lot of their money into buying like jewelry or things that they could wear. So just in case things went tits up again, they could just leave with whatever they had on and be able to like trade it for stuff. So I mean, I don't know if maybe that's kind of the same philosophy of if things go tits up, then...
Well, that is one thing that is one, check mark on the side of the cons for precious metals. But see, if you're going to invest in precious metals, don't invest in some precious metal portfolio. Get actual shit you can have in your hands and put it in your safe at your house. Otherwise, it's a complete shell game.
Right.
And make sure it's not make sure the value of the coin isn't some rare collectible fucking mint. No, make sure it's fucking solid fucking gold.
Mm-hmm.
Would do everything they could to try to make it better. I mean, one of the things that happened with India is India established the Indian Institute of Technology, which is a deadly engineering school. And a huge number of its graduates went to Silicon Valley, as you well know. Yep. And many of the successful Indian graduates of IIT started to dump money back into India and build a capitalist infrastructure there, or help build a capitalist infrastructure there. So this sort of thing can really take hold. If you were making recommendations to governments who wanted to get on board and stop being like Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, and Venezuela, etc., what concrete steps should they take from the bottom up to get the hell out of the way?
Exactly. So two things we've been doing, because I'm a practitioner, as that's my entrepreneurial journey. I'm an entrepreneur, so I practice what I preach, but I also preach. I preach for free markets, and so when it comes to that, I'm one of the hats that I wear is as the director for the African Center for Prosperity of the Atlas Network, the largest organization in the world of free market think tanks around the world. And so what we do there is we work on reforms around the world to take down barriers of entry for local entrepreneurs. So that's one thing. But as we all know, that's a
real Dogatti.
Yo, what's up, Dogatti? How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, man?
My guy. What's up, man? How you doing? Can you shout him out?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you, Kate. Yo, everyone, check out my boy Dogatti. He's just a variety streamer here on Twitch. He's a chill dude. I met him through my network of people. He's been very welcoming to Team Adventurous. Please go please consider word vomit. Go check him out. Things
and stuff. Yes.
How you doing tonight? We're just checking out some political slash economic slash make the world a better place style content over on YouTube.
Some really good advances in many countries, especially in Ghana. We've been making a lot of progress with our partners there, Imani. But piecemeal, but that is piecemeal legislation. It takes forever. It is hard as heck. And by the time you made a gain here, you made 20 losses over there, and it's a continuous problem. But until we get better, we got to continue at it. So that's one thing we've been doing. And so,
thanks for asking. We're good, man. Yeah. Like I said, we're just doing this. We're trying out this new thing. I feel like Team Adventurous is bringing this new thing to Twitch where we just pop on for like 20, 30-minute streams a few times a day. Because, I mean, I'm recording this content for my YouTube channel anyways. So I figured I might as well just stream it to Twitch so my Twitch audience knows I'm doing it. I'm doing all right. Oh, thanks for the raid. I assume that was that. Were you? Oh, that's got to be an offline raid because I didn't see you up, did I?
I don't know.
Spicy. I feel it. Well, thank you, man. I sincerely appreciate it, dude. I swear, sometimes I be looking in my offline chat and there's just like 20 accounts, and I know they're bots, but it's just weird. It's just weird. 20 bots just chilling in my offline chat. It's like, what the fuck, Twitch?
Yeah. No problem, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. We appreciate your support.
Yeah.
That's a hat I wear, working with free market think tanks to try to make it easier for local entrepreneurs to join in the party. Additionally, I'm going bold. I'm going radical. For the past few years, we've been advocating an idea for Africa that found some of its roots in Latin America. And again, I'm related to the people who are involved in this. My husband being one of the key figures in this movement, a movement called the Charter Cities. Paul Romer calls it like that. He's a Nobel laureate in economics. Others call it the Free Cities. I like to call it the Startup Cities. So the best way to think about it, Jordan, and it goes back to what you were talking about earlier when you used the word operating software. Most of the poor, most of the low-income nations, so meaning back in the days, the way we used to call it is poor nations, they have regulations for poverty. They're basically regulated for poverty, meaning the laws, the set law, poverty. It only calls poverty. And so
much like, and this is a spicy take, but it's true, much like Democrats do in cities like Chicago, like Detroit, like they're doing to Seattle. They make a system that keeps the poor poor and the rich rich.
Yeah.
And this is not contentious. It's obvious. Just look at it. In these cities that are Democrat run and have been for like 50 years, poor people, they are born and die poor, and the rich families stay rich because the system has been rigged to keep it that way. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. The Democrats love to say, well, Republicans are the party of the rich. If Republicans are the party of the rich, it's in their best interest to make sure you're rich so you vote for them.
Yeah, yeah. But that's another thing too. Like, a lot of people don't realize this. That's the whole reason why zoning and stuff like that for cities was even invented.
Yep. Gerrymandering, city zoning, region-specific gun laws, all of that shit is historically rooted. That's the actual history of systemic racism, is we're going to make laws in these areas to keep the black man down so white people can move out of these areas and prosper, while the black people in these areas can be held in poverty. And of course, now in modern ages, those laws persist in a lot of places, or that structure of governance persists in a lot of places, and it keeps the white people in those areas down just the same as it keeps the black people down. There's just usually more black people in.
They want everybody poor.
They want everybody who is part of their club They want everybody who isn't part of their club poor. Yep.
What some of these folks have thought about, looking at the Dubai example.
Dogati says
I
facts.
just recently entered the top 10 of international financial centers of the world. And what Dubai did at some point is think about it and be like, on this bare, plot of sand that's technically worth nothing right now as is, this 110 acres of land, sand everywhere. They're like, well, maybe Sharia law is not the best for business. We got to think about better set of laws for business. We're talking about only about business, not family law, not anything else but business. And they decided there's got to be something better. And so they looked around, and that's actually when, to take one of the terms you used earlier, they're starting to realize, common law is actually a better way for business, specifically British common law. So at that point, and I'm oversimplifying here because otherwise we can totally geek out on it. Remember, this is like one of my latest things that I've been involved in, but it's been the past 10 years, and I'm going to share with you a win. So Dubai is like, we have to adopt British, common law, primarily British common law. We're going to hire retired British common law judges to come and educate the law here, train our own people. And that, along with many other reforms, to also become a top center when it comes to the, and in the free market when it comes to the finances. Dubai.
Yeah, well, that British common law system. So it's very, very interesting theologically and metaphysically. So it's predicated on the idea that people have...
Oh boy, here Jordan goes again. Making something that's somewhat mundane super fucking transcendent. Here we go.
Every individual has all the rights that there are, except for those that are specifically regulated and limited by legal necessity. And then generally that realm of necessity has emerged only as a consequence of disputes between people. So you're free to do whatever you want unless you have a dispute with someone else. Then the dispute is adjudicated according essentially to constitutional and theological principles, and then a precedent is established. Then the whole body of law built up that body of precedents.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's bottom up, not top down.
It's totally
and
that.
English common law is a gift from God, man.
No.
It's something.
I did not know that was... that's the best explanation of that I've ever heard. That actually makes sense. Every explanation of British common law I've heard before that is bullshit compared to that. That explanation, I will actually remember that explanation. God, this is why I fucking love Jordan Peterson. He's hyper intelligent. He's hyper intelligent, and he says things. I have to credit him somewhat with my gift for distilling things. I learned from my actual father and Jordan.
Yeah.
Those two people I acquired that gift from. Ah, man.
Yeah.
Something else.
Absolutely. And that's the key word there when you said bottom up. So common law is so much better for bottom up approaches. And we all know that markets work better in a bottom up approach. And also, when they have to educate the law and
I would actually amend that statement to say bottoms only, or bottoms. Bottoms only work in the bottom up position. Markets only work in a bottom up fashion. Anytime the top tries to dictate and run the market from a top-down structure, it inevitably fails. China's house of cards is in the process of tumbling right now. Venezuela, Cuba, Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia. Every time a top-down economy is tried, it falls over under its own weight. Every single time.
Of a dispute, they're going to be much more respectful to the contract that was passed between the two parties than, say, civil law would be. Right? And so anyway, from this standpoint here, you have Dubai who's now trying to put all of this together, and eventually they put a set of laws together that would now be conducive to being a top international financial center in the world. And voila, in less than a generation, in less than 25 years, Dubai completely unrecognizable.
Now, it is true that Dubai is, an instance of people taking a patch of dirt that was barren dirt and making something out of it. And
Mhm.
credit where credits is due, that is fairly amazing. However, I would temper that knowledge with the fact that there have been some incredible human rights abuses in Dubai to make that happen. There have been some incredible engineering blunders, such as, the skyscrapers in Dubai have miles and miles of sewage trucks line up to them every single day to drain their sewage tanks because the people who built Dubai didn't bother to install a sewage system before they built a city.
Yeah.
And then we have the issue of the Palm Islands that are slowly sinking back into the ocean because instead of digging a trench into the mainland in the shape of a palm tree, they decided to dredge sand and try to make artificial islands out of sand.
Because
All I'm saying is
that's how that works.
yeah. So all I'm saying is the people that made Dubai may be smarter than the average person from that part of the world, but not the smartest. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like, look here, guys. Cartoon physics doesn't work in the real world.
Not work.
It doesn't.
Does not work. But like I said, credit where credit is due. There is some really cool shit in Dubai, and it's
Yeah.
certainly better than what most of the other people in that part of the world are doing. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah. Kate, any thoughts on the video?
Not really any more other than what I shared during. So, yeah, I mean, other than the fact that I really, really like what you said, the fact that Jordan has a way of just really boiling everything down to the essentials.
He really does. And another thing I love about Jordan is not only does he boil things down to the essentials, but he makes you understand why all this additional context is essential. He makes the additional he explains it in a way where you have the patience, at least I do, to say, okay, normally I would not listen this far into the explanation of why I should give a fuck about X.
Yeah.
But this explanation is immensely compelling. He's very good at that.
Yeah.
I have immense respect for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because he approaches everything like he's thought about all of the variables, extensively, even if it's something that maybe like he's just run over in his head, like within that 5 minutes. It's like, it's like he's, went to the library and studied it and then came back and was like, here, I've thought about this extensively and I am now boiling it all down to the essentials. And we're going to figure out how to understand it together as I am explaining it to you.
Yeah. Well, that's what it looks like when you're a sagely man. He's incredibly well read. He has dedicated his life to the art of thinking. He is the most evolved thinker I am aware of, currently alive, and yeah, that's. I could stroke Jordan Peterson's metaphorical shaft all day. So we're just gonna leave it there. We are Team Adventurous. Thank you for being here. We're live on Twitch right now. You can go check us out at Twitch if you're feeling adventurous. Where we're going to be doing more of these micro streams, at least micro by Twitch standards. And you can check me out for my fitness content and fitness advice. And until next time, welcome to the adventure.